You know, is about to start when we discuss how mighty low Colleen is hanging.
Yeah, I'm just sitting down in the sofa in my office here because we're gonna do a little bit. It's pretty much our 1 year anniversary. So we thought we'd
It
start.
is.
Yeah, we thought we'd start where we started,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean.
Yes.
And so I sit down and I realize that my knees are like near my boobs, and I'm trying to figure out what happened to the sofa. It's a sofa that used to be in my parents' den, and I'm the one that talked my mom into buying it. So at least when we downsized and moved her to a condo, I'm like, this furniture is mine.
Yeah. But I do think that whatever the support system that's underneath that cushion
Yeah,
has had its last breath.
I think
Because
so.
pretty soon I wouldn't be surprised if the next thing is your butt's on the floor
Yeah,
all the way through there.
then again, I rarely sit here. So
Right? You make the rest of us do it with our knees up under our chins. So, Colleen, you said something just before we got started. Everybody, we should not allow one another to chat at all. We should just turn on the mic. But it's like this is our day in the life show,
yeah, it is a little bit. At first, it did start with us searching for coffee. She's like, no, he's
right?
like, do you have coffee? I'm like, of course we have coffee. And I'm just like, we better make another pot of coffee.
Yeah,
There's a sign that says, behind every successful person is a large amount of coffee. That is a platitude that I can get behind
love that.
completely.
I love that. Coffee is nectar of the gods.
It
It's right there with wine for me, and you have no idea what I'm saying when I
is.
say that. Okay? If you had to say, what are you going to give up, coffee or the wine? I would cry and cry and cry before rendering that particular verdict.
Yeah, like no, no. I was told I was supposed to give up coffee, booze, tomatoes, onion, and chocolate, and I'll give up the chocolate and the booze, but I'm not giving up the tomatoes, the onions, and the coffee. You can tell that I like food more than
Hey,
I like booze.
hey, what in God's name can tomatoes and onions do to you that are bad?
It's acid.
Oh,
Acid stuff like that. But I mean, I start sometimes I throw tomatoes and onions in a pot, and then I find what the hell else is in the house.
right?
Like so I just want I'm like okay, I'm usually driving anyway, so what's the big deal?
For
So
sure.
I don't care.
For sure. So I have before we get started, we've got this is hilarious, guys. We're putting our podcast equipment, and it's a little bit of there's some gear involved to do this. We're gonna be putting it on a cart, and we're gonna wheel our way. You'll hear it on the audio here coming up as we make our way through the warehouse and talk to all the fabulous characters that live here at Fantasy Gifts. I got to tell you, this was interesting. I was talking with a group of people, and somebody had listened to a couple of the shows and was cracking up about some of the stuff, because let's just be honest, we get weird around here. And somebody's like, well, what are you doing? And so I explained, someone who knows me well, in my boyfriend's circle of friends, that I do a podcast with you and what the premise. And this guy was like kind of horrified. And I'm like, what? Like getting real sanctimonious with me. And I'm like, what's your problem with that? Well, I wouldn't want, and I made some comment that it was a family business. Well, I wouldn't want my kids to be around that or know about that or whatever. And went
I
into
hope he
this.
doesn't have kids.
Oh, he does.
Because guess what? They know a lot about what he's all freaked out about already.
Right?
Hmm.
Okay, so and I'm explaining how the business grew organically because I love the story of how your father
Hmm.
created what is now Fantasy Gifts. I think it's just brilliant and
Hmm.
it's the true American dream. But so I let him go on and I let him set himself in a perfect trap and I said, I happen to know that you are friends with somebody who went to jail for securities fraud. So what's worse, mommy sells sex toys or daddy's a felon? Like who took people's life savings. I let him go all the way down the road, and the whole table was like all the other guys because I ended up at a guys gathering.
Was there
Um,
was there was there some harumping and mumbling and no answer?
well, the guys were like, "Oh, she got him, she got him."
No, it speaks to a lot too of how of how a lot of folks in this country are raised. I mean, it's not really all that uncommon for someone to just immediately have a knee-jerk reaction to anything that is remotely sexual because I think sometimes they're just afraid that they're going to be construed poorly. Like immediately, if you say you like sex, you're like condoning things that are wrong about sex or something.
Yeah,
They
that's a good
can't
point.
they can't separate a healthy, fun relationship from like someone abducting children. I mean, it's just everything is lumped together, and it's really quite frustrating.
Yeah, and it's funny, in the year that we've been doing the show, Colleen, we've talked to so many people all over the spectrum. I mean, we've talked to people of different orientations. We've talked to transgender people. We've spoken with swingers. We've spoken with, all sorts of different things. And one of the things I'm really grateful for over the last year is the education I've gotten, and the, not that I don't think I outwardly judged before, but if I was ever tempted to, whatever, that's all, it's gone,
It's gone.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been, it's pretty much been a part of my life since I was 15 years old. It's always been fascinating that for it always strikes me as that, when I read when I read things about how, well, study says that this is particularly normal now. I always get, well, duh, or
Yeah.
but I forget. I have to admit, because I am in a bubble of acceptance and a lot of different people and all that sort of stuff, that there is a larger chunk of folks out there that's shrinking all the time. Witness marriage equality, and witness the folks that people can actually say the word transgender. The people are actually worried about using the proper context, or the fact that the city council up in Virginia, Minnesota could look at all their laws and say, well, really, there's nothing we can do. Consensual people having sex in a hotel is perfectly fine.
And you're talking about parties that were hosted,
parties,
there,
yeah,
group parties.
I'm saying so, but I mean, 20 years ago, there would have been a knee-jerk reaction to this story. I mean, well, I'm sure when Megan listens to this, she'll link to something to it, so someone knows what the hell I'm talking about. But that they immediately would have passed some sort of ordinance, or and it would have been unconstitutional.
Sure.
But they would have done it. And at least now, in 2015, they can look at it and go, these are lifestyle people in a private setting, having consenting, stuff. It's none of our damn business.
Yeah.
And they just, they would have passed something immediately. And
Yeah.
like I said, it would have been unconstitutional, and then it would have been up to the folks to fight it, and it costs a lot of money, and that's why a lot of folks don't.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And what always fascinates me about that sort of thing, and the judgment and the morality peddlers, and and all that kind of stuff, is people have been getting their freak on throughout the millennia. And we talked about a few weeks back, we talked about, ancient BC times, relics, highly, highly, what's the word I'm like, they pop your eyeballs out today.
Oh, yeah.
From 339 BC.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not new to us. So what the hell is it with humans and getting over themselves?
I really don't know. I was listening to the radio earlier today, and I'm going to have to search this book, because it was a book on masturbation. And this author, and like I said, I'll find the link to this too, found out that pretty much modern anti-masturbation stuff comes down to a pamphlet written by Anonymous in 1752. And it was supposed to be all awful, but you could stop masturbating if you bought this potion. And then, so pretty much, it was a marketing ploy to sell something in 1752, and this is why everyone is freaked out over masturbation today in modern Western society. Now, this is a Cliff Notes version of it. Cliff Notes version. I'm going to find, I will post I'll look it up. I'll post the title of the book and everything. Okay. But I'm going to go searching for this, because I'm not really paying attention. It was like an author interview, and they're talking about one thing that's current, and then they went and talked about an older book. It's from 2003, and I went, well, this sucker's out of print, but I have to find it.
Oh, you do. But can I just ask you something right now? It's like, if somebody came to me and said, look, hey, I got an idea for a potion, I want to sell something to help people stop masturbating, I'd say, you know what, drawing board, back you go, because who wants to? Yeah, I mean, no. Seriously, that's a tough market to break.
But it worked. I mean, it was one of the it was a huge falsehood perpetuated onto Western society, and according to this author, it is 1752. Nobody really cared before 1752 what folks were doing.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh
my God. That is just, that's just weird. But I mean, I'm just amazed that, and I have to think that that guys probably were the biggest target market for that. Did you happen to note that in the story or no?
I believe it was one of they implied that because a lot of times when there's a lot of laws in the past, something was I'm reading, they would have they would outlaw like men having sex with men, but nothing was talked about women because it didn't even occur to them.
Oh God! Oh my
Yeah.
God! We weren't
So
even
yeah,
on the radar to
yeah,
be judged.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's so I would guess that it was marketed towards towards men at that point.
Oh my God.
But I don't know. Like I said, it was just a little blurb, and I just went 1752, huh? I had to go back and listen a few times. I'm like, oh, I am so finding this book.
Well, see, there you go. Evidence that we really are at Fantasy Gifts headquarters, and we're gonna take our gear and we're gonna go for a tour. And I'm so excited to see what I might find in the warehouse, because there's gonna be a lot. So, what do you say we put the show on the road?
Let's go for a roll.
Okay, we're rolling down the giant bowling alley hallway here at Fantasy Gifts, and you can hear the cart probably. Who are we looking for?
Well, we're looking for my mom. She's probably down in the DVD land. But like I said, the building was built in 1968, so it's a big old. Oh, wait, we're backed up.
Bert.
I'm so used to her still being at the end of the building.
Okay.
Hey, Mom, are you in here? Mom? Hello?
I'm following Colleen with the cart because she's hooked up.
She's not here.
She's not here. So we are. We're rolling you through the Fantasy Gifts headquarters.
So down the hallway, let's go into the warehouse and see if she's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, because we used to have the whole building, but it occurred to us we don't need the whole building, so now.
Oh, I see a naked mannequin with ginormous breasts over there.
Oh yeah, that's Phyllis. People love Phyllis. Yeah, I think that one's got a crack in the shoulder, so we're not using her right now.
No.
We're keeping
Okay,
her.
here's the cute little fluffy penises and these are like little penis wands, right?
Yeah. We're back. Well, the office is sort of in two sections. There's a sort of a family safe side where we have our personal offices and stuff like that. Then there's the warehouse side that is not family safe or legal safe. And in the back of it's the craft area because there's a couple things we make, and we'll snap some pictures of some of the stuff as we're going along, so you can follow along online. But we have those little self-sculptured penises that make really great bachelorette and bachelor gifts and stuff like that.
I like the penis veils for bachelorette parties, and the corsage. You've got them packaged like corsages.
Yes.
So are they wristlets?
No, they pin on.
They pin on. Okay.
They pin on.
Pin a penis. I like it.
It's a lot of fun. We had to buy. They used to come in they used to be called pin pricks, and they were like pin cushions. But then that's nobody sells anymore, so it's not fun anymore. And it really was in sort of a yellow and brown lettered box right out of the 70s.
Ew.
And so we bought them out because we knew we bought them for this, and then we decided let's see what we can order. But we had to order 5,000 of them.
Oh my God.
So we have a lot of boxes of self-sculptured penises still around.
Oh
but this was several years ago. We may be down to. Oh no.
So you buy these? These come already made?
Oh yeah, no. Look up above the door over here. See all that?
Okay.
Those are boxes and boxes of several thousand self-sculptured penises.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm. It's always fun. You never know what you find. And so as we go down the hallway, we just like I said, I'll snap a picture of this. It's all sort of. Just
rabbits. I see rabbits.
Oh, there's lots of rabbit vibes. So we've got bins of toys all over the place, and then we're walking down, and the office supplies. Because it is an office, so you got to have your Post-it notes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what?
We found a plethora.
I think
found a gaggle of.
They're looking at us like, oh my fucking
coming.
God.
They're coming.
Is it smoky treat time? Smoky Tree Time.
Should I give you a tour of my office?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here comes Liz.
Okay, they're gonna go on Smoky Tree Time. So I'm gonna hand Liz.
Liz doesn't smoke.
Liz doesn't smoke. As much as I despise the fact that they smoke, I'm not unaware that it's an addiction. And so yes, folks, go out and smoke. My dad used to allow. I don't know. Did you work here? My dad would still allow smoking in the stores. This is before the Minnesota Indoor Clean Air. My dad. And then later on in later years, folks he would come going into a store with a cigarette in his hand, and people would like, "You can't smoke." And my dad's like, "Oh, I can smoke when the hell I want to." And I'd be like, "That's Bob. He owns it." And they're like, "Oh."
I used to go to the store, and I would have to lay out, like I'd have to pre-plan how many cigarettes I was going to smoke, because otherwise you would just sit there and chain smoke. because you had nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, it's a hit or miss. I mean, if the store's clean and there's no one in the store, I don't make busy work.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the point of that?
Yeah.
Now I get a little cranky if the mannequin base is dusty, but really, if it's clean and the smokers, I'm not going to say.
But yeah, that was D, right?
What?
That was D. That was that. There was a January 1st where there was like 12 different policy changes that went into effect, and smoking was one of them.
Well, the thing is that Minnesota did pass the indoor smoking area and all that sort of stuff years ago, and so it we did have to comply.
Yeah.
And so there was a couple of things. We're like, oh, we have to enforce this now, don't we?
It was time. Can you imagine buying lingerie?
No.
No.
Oh my God.
But then again, I mean, really early, still early on.
Clear packaging.
Mm-hmm.
What color it would be? Oh yeah, amazing.
No, okay, we're gonna head back this way. And, oh geez.
The audio is awesome.
Well, we love it. I mean, that's the point.
Oh, so we're going back. So we'll go back through the warehouse, and we'll go to Lingerie Land. And we were commenting on Phyllis earlier.
Oh, my naked Phyllis.
Naked Phyllis. Well, is she here to part out? Did she crack?
I had to fix her. She had some damage. And then we used her for Crypticon. And so now it's just kind of like, if I can figure out where to put her, she'll go out.
People love the Phyllis. It's a really, really large-breasted mannequin. She's got some hips, too.
Mm-hmm. She sure does. Now, I think we're going into Liz's cave in here. Is this Liz's cave?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see your name on the door. Okay, this is cool. There's. Oh, what a cute little rainbow dress.
Yeah, that's some of the
stuff.
Of those. Yeah, we get some of that stuff for Pride. It goes out at the Minneapolis store, a couple of our locations.
Yeah.
But
Can you do that?
this is where the back store is.
This is really neat. We should. I love the little schoolgirl skirts that don't cover anything because they're not supposed to.
They don't fit anyone. And they're super small. Everyone always try. I wish they came in an extra large, but they don't.
It is really frustrating because we do. I mean, we're trying to do what a lot of stores do, and I know that Liz has talked about this before about not having a Mrs. and a women's section, integrating everything in. But when you do that, you want to have the outfit available in all the sizes.
Yep.
And some companies are getting a lot better with that.
Yep.
But
it's something when I'm looking into a new company, I do ask them, like, do all of your how much of your outfits go up to plus size? Do you? Because some companies will have a completely different. Some people have a completely different catalog for their plus size, so then they don't have the same outfits.
Yeah.
So I can't put them together anyways. They might have plus size, but it's different stuff. So.
When are they going to get over themselves? Like, seriously, don't they want to sell crap?
I know, right? Well, I think they think that plus size women aren't going to buy it.
And we know completely different for that because there's it doesn't happen all the time, but we do get thanks for there being items for that aren't just moo-moos.
The one area I have problems with, as I was talking to an employee, is the really large sizes, right? Like my 1-2X sells pretty good, right? My 3-4X does not sell as well, right? And there are companies that have 5-6X. It's like, I could get it in a couple of styles, but then would those women know that I had a couple of styles in their size, and would they come to me? Because I have to sell it. I can carry it, but if I don't sell it, because I've had a couple of 5-6Xs, and they're in my clearance, and they don't sell. So it's in that.
Interesting.
I would say society has to keep going. Like I think Tess Holliday, the plus size model. She is a size 22. She's very large.
Is she the woman that that people are really focusing on being called she's a model to try and get rid of the
instead of a plus size model.
She's just a model.
Yes, but she is really big. Like a lot of my lingerie plus size models, I'm sorry, they're really not that big. They might have a small belly, but they're thin. Otherwise, they're pear-shaped. So their arms are really thin. Their legs are pretty thin, so maybe they have a little belly. But Tess Holliday is big. She's got big arms. She's got big legs. She's got a big belly. And she does lingerie modeling. That's what I want to see more. And that's what I tell them that they need to do more. You need to put your plus size models in plus size, your plus size clothing into plus size models. People want to see themselves on the box. They see a size 12 and they're a 20. They're going to be like, well, this doesn't fit me.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, because sometimes they'll have the same model that's on the regular size.
Oh, well, then that they just don't.
And that's just. And
I don't carry those lines.
They're just. That's
it.
I mean,
they don't. If they don't package the plus size, like packaged goods, if they don't put it with a plus size model, I don't carry it.
No.
Yeah, good for you, Liz. I think that's really cool. And I mean, it's funny because someone that I know, she's in her 50s now, but back in the 80s, she was a plus size Ford model.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I mean, I got to see her, like her one sheet for her, whatever they call that. I'm sorry, I don't know the business well. Yeah, and whatever. And she's a crazy stunner. I mean, the camera freaking loves her, and stuff. And I was shocked that back then, that they had that. I just hope that they get a little bit better, because I mean, all markets deserve to be catered to. But I'm dying to ask you, what's with the disco ball?
Well, I used to do.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I used to be a manager, and we used to actually do quite a lot with window design.
Yeah, because we used to have actual platforms and backdrops and windows.
And we'd spend money on them, and I don't know, it was just something I enjoyed doing. So for Bachelorette season, I created a disco ball. So it is sequins. Cool. It is sequins that I hand glued to a ball, and so I spent a lot of time in front of the couch doing that. So when we no longer did big windows, I was like, I'm keeping this, because this was a lot of man hours for myself. And so I hung it in here from my ceiling, and I love it.
Tell us about your office.
So I have, I don't know, 20 by... It's mostly warehouse storage. I have the entire perimeter is bars, straight bars that go, I have 3 rows, so underwear is on top, and then the hanging lingerie is underneath, and 3 of my walls are that way. And this is where I keep all my overstock. So let's say I get 12 pieces of a style, I put it out there, and I sell 4, so I only have enough for 1 store. Well, this is where the extra 2 goes. And then I have a company that I have to buy weird groupings of, so then I always have extra when I buy from them, but they sell so fast because they're inexpensive, so the extra is fine. But yeah, that's what this stuff is. So it's either out of season. I have a couple of items right now. Since it's Christmas, I'm not going to put out floral, so they'll sit here for Christmas and go out in January again.
Oh, yeah, it is seasonal. Like I said, there used to be a lot more hanging merchandise, but I would say about a decade ago, folks started doing some more prepackaged lingerie.
I do as much in sales of packaged as I do in hanging. If you take away discount, the two are about the same. And yeah, we used to do very little packaged business.
Yeah, because it used to be really associated with truck stops and bookstores and stuff like that.
And cheap.
And cheap is good, because I mean we're just coming out of
quality was
but they've gotten a lot better with that.
Yeah, and I would say I can hang it. There are some companies I can either leave the item in the box or I can take it out and hang it, and it's exactly the same. Like this particular, you're not seeing this, but this item, it's a lace 3-piece. It's got a skirt, a half shelf bra, and underwear. This is a packaged item, and it is beautiful. And I take it out because I think it sells better when people see it. But they package it. It's from a package company.
Yeah, you could put more in a store. It was really because I mean it used to be just like truck stops carried that, and we just wanted, and it was really, it took a while to make the transition, but now folks realize that it's expensive, and the companies made a difference in packaging, quality, stuff like that.
From what I see, what it is men buy packaging and women buy hanging stuff, because women can try it on and men just have to guess. So they want to look at a model and be like, yep, that'll work. And then they know that a packaged good for sizing is a little more forgivable, has more elastic waistbands or ties, so it'll fit, a size range, as opposed to like a medium, which will fit this, size. So that's usually how it goes.
I'm going to hand the microphone here to Kelly for a second. I'm going to go see if my mom is next door.
That's really cool. Yeah. So it's really interesting though, Liz, to I'm sitting here looking at all this stuff, because I can walk into any of the fantasy gift stores and they all look really nice. I mean, they're extremely, definitely female friendly for sure, but they're clean and they're really nice retail environments. But it's so always such an interesting thing to go like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, in any
Yeah.
like I actually got to walk through the bells of the downtown Macy's recently.
Oh, fun.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing how just weird it is. Like
Yeah.
it's really weird. So thank you for letting us come into your office. Did you find Marlene?
I have no idea where my mother is. This happens a lot when you want to find someone in this office.
Yeah, it's weird.
I do joke that I'm going to put homing beacons on people
Yeah.
because I can never find. I mean, you know.
I'll even look in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'll just at least so I know where they are. You know, oh yeah, they're in here. I'm not gonna like bug them in there, but at least they're in here. So then I at least know where they are, so I can kind of keep an eye on the bathroom so when they leave.
Well, let's wander back onto the warehouse then because they're
Thanks for coming.
Bye, Miss Liz. Okay, so we're gonna wander back over to the warehouse. I'm gonna have to
They're pulling lists.
refrain from grabbing stock off the rabbit shelves. Am I going to the left yet?
Yeah, we'll go back. Go back to the.
What is it with
warehouse
wheels
here.
on carts?
Oh, I don't know. I never can figure out what's going on.
It's so much fun.
But like, so back to the warehouse. Yeah, it's funny. The warehouse sort of is like the stores. The naughtier stuff is in the back, and the softer stuff is in the front. But we pull the list that way, and the inventories and everything. It's all set up.
Tara's doing something over here.
Okay. Are you doing
Let's see
the
what she's
individual? You're doing the okay. So not all the stores carry everything because well, one, they're not all the same size. And so Tara is now in a backdrop of 1,000 masturbators.
Nice.
That's a masturbator.
Yes.
And
Oh my God,
the
the
palette. And this does not go to all the stores.
Right.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is an American bombshell, which is probably about a
bigger than a Coke can.
bigger than a
around.
Coke. It's a big, it's a big dildo, but the big dildos sell.
They do. You'd be surprised how many.
And so we get, like I said, not every store has all the items, and so we've got a separate area for for those items and pull everything out. But this is where we have some of the Colt products, some of the Apollo products. We carry a lot of the
Extra Screaming Owl stuff.
tons of Screaming Owl
Extra
stuff.
Sports stuff. Vivid Raw items from Cal Exotic.
Oh yeah, so many masturbators. We could.
They're so little fun.
We've been trying to figure out where to put all the stuff because this is when there's big shows and we do big extra stock ups. And pallets of stuff came in, and it looks like a pallet's coming in now. Liz is taking care of it. I don't know if that's the dildos. Is it a pallet?
You know what? That's a little palette.
A little pallet? Lube? Because you gotta put lube on a little
I
pallet,
think it's
otherwise
lube.
you'll kill
I think
yourself.
It's some of our
Oh,
instant
heavy,
organics
yeah.
that we're having a promotion on this month, so that's exciting. People are going to be very excited about that.
I love that brand. Oh my god.
Yes.
Now I have to admit, the flavored ones are tasty and all that sort of stuff. But since I do all the lube tasting for the posters, the non-lube tasting ones, they're not as pleasant as the tasting ones as some of the other companies. But the quality is so good that
And it's all organic.
Is that the vegan stuff too?
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I mean, everyone can be happy with this stuff.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. Well, let's go find out what else is going down over here, and I'll let, because, it is only a couple of weeks before Christmas, so I'll let Tara get back to getting the store's stuff.
Bye, Tara. Good to talk to you. I'm cracking up.
Really, really big.
I'm seeing several things on this wall of masturbators that I actually can't figure out obviously what they actually are, but that's okay. I have no idea what that thing is. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we
It's
set up-
mood naughty thingy thing.
Those are all butt plugs.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
butt plugs,
Those
okay.
those are butt plugs, and over here are clit pumps.
Oh.
And this is the lube land, and then there's like small vibe land, and rabbit land, and dildo land, and bondage land, novelty land.
I'm utterly confused at something that looks like an oxygen mask, but it is called a Pussy Plump Plus. What does this thing do?
Well, what it does is it's a suction device for women's genitals. It's going to bring more blood to the labia and clitoris.
So, kind of a fluffing type of an item?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Bye-bye, Tara. Thank you for that. I did not know such a thing existed, but then again, I learn something new every single time I come here. And you can hear we're coming into the warehouse room. And, oh my God.
So there's a main area in the front of the warehouse. And like I said, we'll take some pictures here and we'll see what's going on. And we'll wave at AJ, who does most of our pricing. And since he's young and not broken, lifts heavy things.
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. So, yeah, oh,
Let's go
wow.
through there. So there's several large tables that we built that are a little bit higher to do all the pricing on. We're trying to avoid the the back injuries.
Sure.
And it's up front near the actual delivery area, the garage. And it just you don't think about everything that you need for a store is here. I mean, yeah, obviously you need dildos, but you also need paper towel, toilet paper, and all sales final slips, pens, window cleaner, credit card slips, register paper, register ink. It just there's the list and the stock is, I mean, it's everything that we do.
Yeah, and
it's stuff doesn't magically appear.
No, and it's weird, Colleen. I mean, when you think about, like, I'm actually walking through here astounded at really what it takes to run all of these stores that you have, and it's like, do you ever think to yourself, had it not grown the way that it did, if you had to stop and construct this right now from zero, like how absolutely daunting that would be?
No, yeah, it grew from working behind one store.
Yeah.
And having everything delivered to the store on Hennepin Avenue, to having everything delivered to the store on 81 South 10th Street, to getting an office in the Butler North building up on the 7th floor that you could only get to by the either by stairs from the 5th floor or through the freight elevator.
Oh, yeah.
To getting a building in St. Louis Park to this building here. So I mean, moving. I mean, moving here was daunting enough, and I can't imagine ever having to, move again. I mean, this was, well, first of all, whenever I move anything, it's about 1,000 degrees. So, there's that, or there's a snowstorm. There's no, but it just, to just plop down infrastructure is just, someone has to get a hold of Jasmine. And, it evolves. It doesn't, you just don't plunk down a fully, functioning thing.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So yeah, this is really an astounding thing. So let's move back this way. I'm looking for Marlene sighting. I'm thinking at some point she's got to be here somewhere.
Whether or not she ran out on an errand.
Yeah, maybe.
Just check that bathroom.
Yep, we're gonna check the bathroom. Why wouldn't we?
So we have wandered around and realized that my mom has actually left the building. I didn't know she was going anywhere, so we'll track her down one of these days. But so now I've roped Sarah into coming in, and Sarah, I know, has been on the show, and she does all of our internet sales, and she also does all of our lovely graphics. So if you like the graphics, it's all Sarah, which is great, because for all of you guys out there that are designers, I give Sarah like these big vague things, and then she reads my mind and makes it pretty. And so I love this, because when I see when folks complain about design stuff, I'm like, do I do that to Sarah? I hope I don't do that to Sarah.
I have no complaints.
Because our church going through, but she's running through and getting some orders here, and we've had some fun lately with our websites because we're running two, and then we've got and we've been having a lot of fun dealing with Amazon, because somehow people think that they should be able to order something, and I mean, just somehow it's magically going to appear, even though stuff's all over our website saying we are a small business. Here are our shipping hours.
And it's just little me packing up the orders, trying to get them out as quickly as possible.
I'm almost tempted to take pictures and see this? This is our shipping department. These are her hours. Maybe we should. We'll personalize a little bit going through there. I mean, sure, you must have a really nice shot from your wedding.
Oh, yeah. Lots and lots.
But so I'm going to let her... It's just, like I said, I really, since I saw her, I just wanted to, say in person, really on in air, and put it out there in the world that she does an amazing design job.
Thank you.
And gets the internet stuff down for us, because now she's pretty much maintaining, to some extent, all the stuff on one site. and graphics and general information on another site. And it's fun.
There's never a lack of work to be done around here.
No, I do preface a lot of things with, and this would be job security for Sarah.
Just add it to the list. Feels good to cross things off.
How many lists do you have going now in there?
I have a list of lists. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's fun. But I'm going to let Sarah get back to what's going on here.
Bye, Sarah. Oh my God. See, this girl, I mean, seriously, she's constantly flinging. It's like we've only been able to get our hands on her for the show a couple times because it's like you can't take her out, you know?
No, it's up. And then we do this on Tuesdays too, and I got a lot of stuff. And so, like I said, we've got Tim over here. We should have Tim say hi.
Yeah.
Tim does all the DVDs, so he's where I get all my DVD information from. But right now, he's doing something exciting, such as
I'm cutting up scratch paper.
Wow. Yeah, that's fascinating.
Well, the reason I laugh about that is that there's not really anything that most folks around here just like won't do. Like, does it need to get done?
Yeah, because we need to put it on all the boxes. So right now, with it being as busy as we are, everybody's helping do whatever.
Yeah, Tim's been pricing a lot of merchandise. He goes through there because we don't do as much DVD business or movie business as we did 20 years ago.
Oh, no.
But it still is quite intensive because we're trying to be more specific about what the stores get, what their personalities are.
Yeah, but Marlene comes in a lot of the times, even on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So lately, with needing to be able to get into the warehouse to help everybody out, her coming in on the weekend is actually just almost needed. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she lives 5 minutes away just makes it so much easier for her to be able to do that.
No, my mom just likes to keep busy, so she'll come in and take care of that, and that leaves Tim able to help with other things going on or deal with some of the phone calls, because then we know my mom doesn't like answering the phone.
So Tim, just really quick, because I don't think we've ever had you on the show before. How long have you worked here?
Oh, in the office, I think about 7 years, maybe 8. I don't know. The years kind of been flying by as you get older. And then I worked in the stores part-time for about 2 years, and then full-time for a year, and then I got brought up to the office.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is so cool. So people come here, and I mean, that's just a really testament. Thank you, Tim. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
So it's just amazing, Colleen. It's like people, they stay. I mean, you have so many people that have been here for multiple years.
Yeah, it is lovely, and it certainly makes my job easier, knowing that I can like I know I've mentioned before. When I broke my ankle, I was barely here for almost 6 weeks. And so we were able to, it was just fine. I knew, stuff was going to get done. Occasionally I have to admit that I screw up and I assume that people can read my mind. Yeah. And so I have to realize, that sometimes I might have to be Captain Obvious and say things out loud. But that's on my shoulders. Yeah. I do get so comfortable with how well everybody does their jobs here that I'm like, oh, wait a minute, they can't read my mind. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, damn. And so then I have to go, oh, this didn't work out, and that's or something's going on. I mean, I love telling someone that I love the work. It drives me, and I don't care how many years I've been doing it. It drives me crazy when I have to say that I screwed up or somebody else screwed up or something like that. But it doesn't happen that often. So I think that's why, and I hope I never get used to it, because I think, but it doesn't happen that often. Just move on.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think too that if you're out there listening, I think that you can tell from the show, and definitely because the people that work here do rotate through the cast of the show and everything else. It's a great place to work, and I think that the level of caring that you have for your employees really does come through. And I mean, thanks to all of them over the past year that have contributed to the Great Northern Sex Cast, and to all of our special guests that we've had throughout the year, Mrs. Sin and Brie Lopez Donovan and Ross Swayback, and so many others. Rice and Beans, our photographers, and
Charles from or Chuck from Hennepin,
Normandale College.
Oh my God.
College. Yep. And Denise.
I am so turning into my mother.
Oh God.
I'll choose the wrong word. It's genetic. Everyone's just gonna have to deal with it.
Absolutely. So, and we'll have all of these great characters back, because there's always something to talk about with them.
Oh, always. So everyone have a great holiday. Have a great New Year. We'll be back before the New Year.
Yeah, we will.
Let's do it that way. As since my daughter won't travel with me anymore, we're not going, on vacation.
Okay.
So it's fine. Yes, I am a horribly embarrassing mom now.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And you're handling it so well.
Oh yeah, but I laugh. I can out embarrass her.
Good.
Anytime.
Good. Keep it up. You keep up the good. Colleen, happy 1 year anniversary to Great Northern Sex Cast and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Kelly.